Let me tell you guys a story. A story about a band that many people wear, but surprisingly don't really know. A story about the band,
Orda, what are you doing?
Oh, mate, I was just about to talk to our audience about the Misfits Iceberg.
Another Iceberg video? Dude, don't you remember how long the first Iceberg video took?
I know, mate, but it's the Misfits we're talking about. And it's spooky season. You need to have a video out in spooky season. Also, aren't you gonna go see them with Killbot?
I don't know, man. Killbot lives so far away. I mean, what do you think he's gonna do? Drop everything and come to Texas?
Well, to keep you from counting the days, how about you make the Misfits Iceberg?
You know what? I like the way you think, Orda.
Mate, we're literally the same person. Hello guys, so simply calling me a Misfits fan is kind of an understatement. Yeah. But for real though, does that make me qualified enough to talk to you guys about the Misfits Iceberg? I saw this iceberg on Reddit and I really wanted to do my take on this, especially during spooky season month, because one, I love Halloween, and two, I love the Misfits. And before anybody says this, I already know somebody beat me to this already. Thing is, I wanted to do my own take on it, and I wanted to add a lot more information than what Brady W. Hickman did on his version of this iceberg. And I also added some more things into this iceberg that the original iceberg did not have, such as Danzig's Evil Bricks, the Bruiser movie that the Misfits were in, and so much more other things. But anyways guys, again, please like, share, and subscribe. I really do want this video to hit 100 likes, and if we do hit 100 likes, I will immediately put part 2 up because I'm going to be doing this in part. But anyways guys, let's get on with the Misfits Iceberg. Alright, so this first entry in the iceberg is called Misfits T-shirt. And surprisingly, this actually isn't a song by the Misfits themselves. This song is actually by Dreamers, and the song literally just talks about how this guy fell in love with a girl in a Misfits T-shirt. And I wanted to add this on the list and have it first on the list because this is actually how I got into the Misfits. I know. Okay, call me a simp. I don't care. But anyways, which leads us to the next thing in this iceberg. Last Caress. Last Caress is a song by the Misfits, and it is noted as the song by the Misfits. Meaning, if you're trying to really get into the Misfits, I would recommend trying this song first, because once you give this song a try, you basically have heard the entirety of the Danzig era. And yes, this is the song that started my love for the Misfits. Hybrid Moments, another Danzig era classic song. Song has like a creative 50s swing to it. Not only that, but Avenged Sevenfold famously covered this on Instagram in 2021. Astro Zombies, one of the songs on the Misfits' first EP, Walk Among Us. This is another Danzig era song with the same doo-wop feel. Also, MCR covered this song in Tony Hawk's Underground.
Grew up, listening to them, and they're from New Jersey, which is, we're real proud of.
I don't know, man. I kind of like MCR's version more. Saturday Night. Now, this song is actually from the Michael Graves era, which we will be getting more into that the later we go on in this iceberg. And during the Michael Graves era, brothers Doyle and Jerry got the rights to the Misfits back and basically got a new drummer and a new vocalist and created the Michael Graves era of the Misfits. They have a better sound. They got better at their instruments. I mean, just give this a listen and compare it to like the Danzig era. But anyways, the song Saturday Night, this song went back to the Misfits' original doo-wop style that was embodied back in the Danzig era, but with a better production this time. Again, this song sounds sweet at first, but when you give the lyrics a listen, it's actually pretty dark. And fun fact, they actually played this song in the end of a Saturday Night Live. Next one, Halloween. Famous song by the Misfits. Pretty sure all of you guys know it. Song is about Halloween. There's a part 1, part 2. And fun fact, I actually own the 42-inch record of the Halloween. And it's pretty cool. I don't know if this is an original or if this is a reprint, but I mean, I got it for freaking $10. And also, this song was famously covered by AFI, and I honestly prefer the AFI version more than the original Misfits version. If-I's version was more faster, it was more cleaner, and I just like it. Anyways, that's it for the first layer of the Misfits iceberg. Let's go to the second layer. The Fiend Club. The Fiend Club is the official name for the Misfits fan base. Kind of like how Slipknot has Maggots and Insane Clown Posse has Juggalos. The Misfits have the Fiend Club.
Now, what made you an application? What made you come across doing something the Misfits Fiend Club?
Well, we wanted to get more feedback from our fans and wanted to get a little closer to them and see what they liked and didn't like and stuff like that, and offer them stuff like t-shirts and stuff.
It didn't cost anything, did it?
No, it didn't cost anything, and we always sent out free stuff.
And it is also a really good song from the Famous Monsters album in the Michael Graves era. I'm just hoping I don't get copyright claimed with all these songs. Plan 9 Records. Plan 9 Records, originally known as Blank Record, is actually the independent record label made by Glenn Danzig back in 1977. It's so they can distribute their own music and stuff, because again, distributing music back then was like a fucking joke. And obviously the name Plan 9 is a reference to Ed Wood's science fiction film Plan 9 from Outer Space. Brain Eaters. Brain Eaters is actually one of the Misfits' first music videos, and what you're seeing right here is the footage of the Brain Eaters music video. Sam Haines. Sam Haines was Danzig's band after the Misfits broke up in 1983. He left the Misfits due to Jerry and Doyle's lack of musicianship. He really wanted to go with a much more heavier sound, and he wanted Jerry and Doyle to get better at their craft. Lodi. Lodi is the place in New Jersey where the Misfits formed. In fact, a lot of Misfits fans make the pilgrimage to Lodi, New Jersey just to see its history with the Misfits. The YouTuber Fumies, or whatever you call it, he made a whole video about it, which you guys should check out. I will link it in the description below. Henry and Glenn. Both Henry Rollins of Black Flag and Glenn Danzig were best friends, which is awesome because I equally love both bands. And there's a lot of images you can look up where you can see Henry and Glenn Danzig together or doing something together. Henry Rollins talked about how he first watched the Misfits and that was one of his inspirations. You can see Henry Rollins with the Misfits tattoo of actually the design I'm wearing on my shirt right now. And not only that, but the Misfits have also covered Rise Above by Black Flag, one of my favorite Black Flag songs. That cover was in the Cuts from the Crypt EP, which we will get into later in this iceberg. Next one, The Undead. The Undead is Bobby Steele's band right after he left the Misfits. He formed this band in October of 1980 because of course it has to be on October. And he departed from the Misfits because the Misfits didn't want to be known as a band with two guitarists for some reason. In fact, this goes to the whole fiasco they had with Caroline Records when they re-released their 12 Hits from Hell with Bobby Steele's guitar in it. Jerry Only and Danzig were unhappy with how it sounded. They just really didn't want Bobby Steele's guitar to be heard. So a lot of legal stuff happened and they had that album re-recorded and all this other stuff. And basically Bobby Steele is out of the Misfits picture and he is out of any potential royalties from the Misfits. So yeah. Michael Graves. Michael Graves is the second vocalist during the Misfits comeback era in the late 80s, early 90s. He was only in 2 albums, being American Psycho and my favorite Misfits album, Famous Monsters, which is a callback to the magazine that the Misfits took their font from. There's also some Graves era songs and cuts from the Crypt like Bruiser, but we'll get into that song later in this iceberg. Graves is controversial due to his very right-wing views on politics, which caused a big drift from Misfits fans since the Misfits are one of the most famous punk bands of all times, and having someone with that mentality in the Misfits and in punk in general truly shatters their history, but I mean, to each their own, I guess. Captain Harlock. Captain Harlock is an anime manga series that Glenn Danzig was a huge fan of apparently. He wore the skull logo that Captain Harlock would wear in the show during the early years of the Misfits. Speaking of anime and the Misfits, I believe this is why Junji Ito did some designs for the Misfits as we see here, and I really love those designs. I have some of those myself. But yeah, check out Captain Harlock if you guys haven't. I've actually seen a couple scenes from that anime. It looks pretty good. I can see why Glenn liked it.
Or are you here on your own will?
The Devil Lock. The Devil Lock is the official hairstyle of the Misfits, which is just a really long mohawk / widow's peak combination. Apparently Doyle uses Gorilla Snot and tape to keep it in place. I don't know if he was joking or not, but I'm pretty sure he's not joking. London Dungeon. London Dungeon is a song by the Misfits, but on December 2nd, Danzig and Bobby Steele got into a fight with some skinheads, and a broken bottle was used during this fight that Danzig armed himself with, and that's why they were in jail in England. But yeah, next next entry, the original logo. So what I was saying is the Captain Harlock logo is what everyone has been saying that Danzig wanted the original logo to be, but obviously they went for the Crimson Ghost, which at the time I think it was free to use. But also this entry isn't really that specific on what they mean by the original logo, because I also think they're talking about their original 70s logo that kind of gives me like a Scooby-Doo vibe. But obviously we got the famous Fiend Skull that everybody knows the Misfits for, and obviously now the Misfits are using the famous Monsters font. But yeah, that is it for part 1 of the Misfits Iceberg. If you guys like this, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see the second part, again, please let this video hit 100 likes, and I will immediately do the other parts to this iceberg, because again, I love this. But yeah, again, please like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, follow my band on Instagram, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next part.